In this video, we are talking about subtracting integers. So first and foremost, I want to point out that we are going to actually not be subtracting. Similar to how when we divide fractions, we actually turn it into a multiplication problem and multiply. With subtracting integers, we are going to turn it into an addition problem, and we are going to add using the integer rules. So we are going to use the additive inverse and I'll explain that further in a moment, to keep, change, similar to keep, change, flip, and add the integers. So if you remember from the integer lesson, and I want you to write this down again, same sign, we add, keep the sign. So if it started off negative, we keep it negative. If they started off positive, we keep them positive. When we have different signs, one each negative and positive, we subtract and then keep the sign of the larger absolute value. So if I have the numbers 4 and 12, 12 is larger, so I'll keep the sign of whatever the 12 has, whether that be negative or positive. For example, we have 4 minus 12, just like I mentioned in the previous numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the additive inverse. I'm going to keep, change, and change, so that way I have an addition problem instead of a subtraction problem. And then I will simply use my adding integers rules and I will simplify the expression, okay? So I'm always going to keep the first one. 4 is my first number. It's not going to change its sign. It's not going to change anything about it. It's staying positive, which we know because there's nothing in front of it here, okay? Absolutely nothing over there, so that means it's a positive 4. So 4, and then we're going to change the subtraction sign to an addition sign. We're always switching to addition. And then 12 is just positive 12, and I can see that because if I look at the number itself, there's not a negative sign with it in addition to the subtraction. There's simply a 12. So instead of being positive, I'm going to change this, or if you want to think of it as flipping it, to negative 12, okay? So 4 plus negative 12, now I have different signs. So I'm going to subtract. 12 minus 4 is equal to 8. But I'm going to keep the sign of the larger absolute value. 12 itself is larger than 4, and 12 is negative, so negative 8 will be my final answer. Again, I'm going to use my additive inverse. I always keep the first one, so keep the negative 4 just as it is. I'm going to change this sign to addition, and then I'm going to change the sign of the last one from negative 12 to positive 12. So 4 plus 12, negative 4 plus 12. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my signs. I have different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 12 minus 4 is 8. In this case, the 12, of course, is still bigger than the 4, so it's a positive 8 or just 8. Okay. In this example, we have negative 4 minus positive 12. So what I am going to do is I'm going to keep, change. Keep the negative 4, change the sign to addition, and again, this was a positive 12, so I'm going to change it to a negative 12. Now in this example, I have the same signs, which means I am going to add those two numbers together. 4 and 12 gives me 16, and I keep the sign as a negative because remember, if I spend $4 and spend another $12, I still have spent $16, which is negative. Final example, I have 4 minus negative 12. Now these are fairly common types of examples, and there are a couple of things I want to point out about this. Of course, we're going to do the keep, change, change concept. I'm going to keep the 4, change it to positive, change this to positive, and just make it 12. And 4 plus 12 is the same kind of addition sentence that we've seen since we started doing addition, right? I have 4 plus 12 is 16, and we're good to go. Now, another way to look at this problem is if I start with that 4 minus negative 12. You may notice that with the parentheses there, which is often a part of the number sentence when you have a negative in the second spot, especially following a subtraction sign, if you just bring that through, it kind of makes it look like a plus sign right off the bat. A double negative, negative times a negative, is going to equal a positive. So we can just automatically make that into a plus, and just don't forget that that last part is a parenthesis there. So 4 plus 12 gives me 16, of course. Another thing I've seen is 4 minus negative 12. I've seen people use the two negative or subtraction signs and make it happy, so to speak, by putting a smiley face through that, and then it turns those both into pluses when you make that little symbol happen, okay? Or if you just want to do the keep, change, change and use that simple strategy that will work every time, that's fine as well. But I've noticed this and this over the years, and it might help you.